Yeah, this is not. What do you want me to say about a character like Kasume? There's really not much for me to say. Fuck. I was hoping you'd show up later. I've been at this for less than 15 minutes. Ben. Right. Okina. Matara. Yeah, I guess the spoilers for the final results of this. This is my least favorite character in the entire series. I hate this character. Um, and I have like multiple reasons for that, and I kind of, where do I even begin? Like I guess the first point I have, which is the biggest reason for why this is my least favorite character. So I guess also spoilers for the end. Ann's my favorite character. We'll get to her eventually. And the thing about Touhou 16 is, you know, Okina over here, she sort of created Ann. Sort of. It's really weird how it works because in Touhou, like, objects have spirits or something. So Okina, like, used her super door powers to turn Ann from a statue into Ann. And when Ann talks about it in the Gassen manga, which I'm going to call it because I don't want to say Wild and Horn Hermit for like 50 times, she has memories of when she was a statue. So it's like Okina sort of created Ann, but like not really. But like anyway, so when you read that chapter in the Gassen manga, you find out that even though Okina like created Ann, she didn't like talk to her at all until the events of that one chapter where Okina goes up to Reimu's shrine at a party or something, and then Ann goes up to her and she's like, "Oh, you're the person everyone's been talking about. I heard about you from Reimu." So Ann has no idea who Okina is, despite the fact that she's the one who made her. And so Okina, you know, she goes up to Reimu and she's like, "I'm so fucking cool, Reimu. I could make all the Gensokyus change to my whims." And Reimu's like, "If you do that, I'd have to kill ya." And she's like, "Okay, I guess I won't do that then." And then she like explains like what Ann is. She's like, "Yeah, I created this thing." And then she like takes on. She's like, "You look at this, Reimu. I can create life. I'm so fucking cool. I can do whatever I want. Fear me." And then she leaves, and then presumably never talks to Ann again. And I actually like looked at. I might like put that panel up on the screen while I'm editing this. But one thing I've noticed about that one panel with Okina and Ann is, you know, Ann is like smiling from ear to ear in like almost all of her art in the Gazen manga because she's just a bundle of joy. And in that one panel, she looks like, I don't know what to describe it, like surprised or like maybe like slightly uncomfortable. And maybe this is me looking a bit too into that, because she might just look like that because, you know, Okina might have like just like put her, like grabbed her suddenly and she wasn't expecting it. But, you know, Ann's not the stupidest character around, so she might have like actually listened to what Okina is saying there and basically realizing that the only reason she is currently alive right now is because Okina made her so like she could use her as a prop at this one moment where she's bragging to Reimu about how fucking awesome she is. So, yep, and I just find that, I don't know, like, really despicable. Like, you just, like, created someone for the sake of showing off in one moment, and then you just kind of fuck off and presumably never talk to them again. And I feel like that says a lot about Okina's character, where she just, like, will casually do something like that, just for the sake of bragging about something. Yeah, that's like the main reason why she's my least favorite character. There's like some other things, because like in the fairy manga, you know, the one that Sengetsu Sei, is that how you say it? I don't know Japanese. That's my favorite manga, by the way, because it's just about the fairies of light being goofballs the entire time, and then the fourth one, Clown Piece becomes a friend, also goofballs. And here's the thing about Touhou manga. A lot of the ways they end, because a lot of Touhou manga is kind of slice of life stuff, but they all feel the need to have some sort of ending that has some sort of like tension. So a lot of them, they just kind of like have something show up in the last couple chapters out of nowhere. And a lot of time it just comes off as like kind of jarring, and it's like, what did I read? That's what happens in the fairy manga. So in the fairy manga, you know, 90% of it is just slice of life, whatever. And then near the end, it's like a bunch of fairies are being turned into crystals or something. And Clown Piece, she tries to figure out what's going on. And then like basically Hakatia, Clown Piece's boss, she wants to take the fairies and put them into hell to make hell more lively or something. And like, I don't exactly remember this, so I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure Clown Piece, she tries to help her fairy friends have that not happen, so she like blatantly goes against what Hakatia was probably telling her to do, which I think makes, which I'll probably talk about this later, makes Clown Piece a pretty great character, because like, how many characters in this series would actively go against like what their boss is telling them to do for the sake of their friends? I don't think many of them would, but she did. Anyway, Clown Piece, she wants to help her friends, so she does. So they try to figure out what's going on. They find out what's going on. I think Okina just like kind of shows up and tells them the answer. I don't really remember, but it turns out that Okina is turning the fairies into crystals because she wants to like have Hakatia not take them to hell or something. So Clown Piece and friends, they're like, okay, we're gonna stop you, and then they get their ass beat because they're fairies. And then Okina does the very iconic thing where she grabs Clown Piece by the neck and threatens her. Really cool, Okina. And I think the way that ends is Clown Piece basically goes to Hakatia and she's like, don't do that because I think there's powerful people who won't want you to do that or something. I don't remember, it's been a while since I've read this. And Hakatia goes, okay. And it's just really stupid. Because the way I read this is basically, because if you don't know, Hakatia is the most powerful character in Touhou because Sun said so in an interview once. Very good way to build lore for your series, just say important stuff like that in interviews. Besides the point. So Okina here, she needs to stop Hakatia, but she couldn't directly stop Hakatia because, you know, she's not as powerful as her. So what does she do? She takes her clown child, threatens her life, and says, fuck off. And that's what happens. And, like, I like Clown Piece a lot. So you see a theme why I don't like this character is because she's terrible to characters I like. And then, you know, it just kind of ends. And the fact that it doesn't help, like, the Three Fairies manga is my favorite manga, and it just kind of ends with Okina showing up and being Okina, and then she leaves, and it's like, well, that's great, I'd rather literally anyone else be involved in the finale of this manga, but whatever. Do you know another thing about Okina? I'm going to talk about Okina for like 20 minutes. If you don't know, I don't like this character. That's the thing with characters. I noticed that about this in the Len'en Sorter too. When it comes to characters I like, I can just be like, you know, I like this character. When it comes to positive things, I just kind of go without saying, you know, I like this character, and that'll show in the results. When it comes to characters I don't like, I kind of need to explain the many reasons I don't like them. Because in Touhou 16, one of the things about, what I remember, Okina's like 2 main goals in 16 was to, 1, show up and show how cool she was. Be like, yep, Tengu and shit, don't get uppity because I'm more powerful than you and I'll beat you up. And that was the first thing. And her other thing is apparently her 2 servants, you know, the blue one, the green one, and the pink one. Apparently she wants to, like, get rid of them and replace them with someone. But at the very end of the game, she just, like, doesn't, because apparently she just, like, changed her mind and she doesn't get rid of them. And it's like, I know the reason for that is because Lin doesn't like to get rid of characters out of nowhere, because then, you know, fans can't use them. So it just sounds to me like he just kind of wrote that. It's just like, and then Okina changed her mind. But, you know, this is just a bit of a, you know, a conspiracy theory for me, but I think the actual reason why she didn't get rid of them is because she didn't actually succeed in her goal of finding someone to replace them with, because she got, like, I think the people she tries to replace them with are the characters you play as in 16, and, you know, she can't choose Reimu for obvious reasons. She can't choose Aya because Tengu, and she can't choose Chirno. I think just because she doesn't respect fairies. But like, I'm pretty sure she almost chooses Marissa. She's like, Marissa, you could totally be my servant, and Marissa's like, fuck off. And that's how that ends. So it's my conspiracy theory. I don't think Okina kept the dancers around because, like, she likes them now. I think she kept them around because, like, she doesn't have a replacement, and she's gonna find a replacement later. I think that's kind of what she's doing already. But yeah, I just kind of find it, like, jarring and, like Lost Word, mainly, where they try to pretend that Okina, like, cares about the dancers at all, when nothing she's done in the past suggests that. Especially since 616, like, the dancers have shown up in, what, like, 16.5, which everyone showed up in, and then they haven't shown up at all, and Okina keeps showing up in things, and they're not there, and it's like, yep, I'm sure she cares about them so much, which is why she never talks about them and never brings them anywhere. Yep. And then, like, I just find it, I mean, I know in fan stuff, you know, people like to ignore the aspects of characters they don't like in order to make a story that's, like, better. Like, you know, with Yukari, the whole Yukari beats Ron with an umbrella. That was a thing that was mentioned in Bohemian Archive and was promptly stayed there and never left, because why would you ever include that in anything? But yeah, it's the thing about Okina. Whenever I see her and stuff, she's like, they, like, have her, like, Flandre and Yuma, because, you know, Okina was the one who had Flandre go fight Yuma in 17.5, and then after that I think she had Yuma, like, take care of the oil fields or something, so she's connected to those two characters. And so she's drawn a lot with those two characters, and, like, I know it's fan stuff, you're gonna ignore the stuff you don't like about a character if they're not pleasant, but, like, with the way Okina is now, the idea that she would, like, care about either of those two at all as anything more than a means to an end is just, like, not from what I've seen. She kind of seems like the kind of person who doesn't really give a fuck about anyone, but, you know, whatever. And, you know, those are the main things. She's my least favorite character because she's frankly a terrible person. And unlike the other Touhou characters, which are terrible people, she's, like, not that she's very relevant. She won't go away because Zun has decided that she is Yukari too. Because basically, it went from Yukari is normally the person who's in the background who does the shady stuff to now they're both that, and they're just kind of, like, flip-flop back and forth between who does what. So, like, Yukari will be the one in 15.5, and then Okina will be the one in the fairy manga, and then Yukari will be the one in the Satori manga, and then Okina will be the one in 17.5, and it's just, they just kind of flip-flop back and forth. And just the other thing I don't like about Okina is just, like, she very much is Yukari too, because, you know, she's the third stage, and, you know, when you had the second stage, which is Kazen, spoilers, we didn't know that somehow, Kazen and Yukari are very different. Whereas when Zun made the third one, he was like, alright, here's the third stage. She's, a really old, powerful blonde lady who has an ability that allows her to teleport anywhere, and, she, like, takes control of Gensokyo from behind the scenes, and she's really shady, and she has 2 servants, but she's not a yokai, she's a god, so it's, like, really different, and it's like, okay, so yeah, probably not the best way to describe all that, but basically, yeah, it's my least favorite character, because, she's, terrible, she's kind of a terrible person, and she's kind of been terrible to characters I actually like. And she's not very interesting because she's basically Yukari too. I know she has a lot of lore, but, like, I don't care. That's the thing with Touhou, and, like, Zun has this tendency to give a bunch of lore to characters I don't fucking care about, so I don't care about their lore. You know, we'll get to the Lunarians someday. It's been half an hour here. I've done 4 battles. This is gonna take 10 hours. Oh my god. But yeah, you know, the Lunarians have a bunch of lore, and I couldn't care about any of it, because why should I care about the lore of characters who aren't interesting characters? Like, maybe put some of the effort you put into their lore into making them actual, like, interesting characters, and I would care, you know? Anyway, Ben's a nothing character, but she's not my least favorite character in the series, so there you go.